Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thank you for joining me today. On this video, I'm going to be doing a special patriotic tribute. We're doing an American flag with a peace dove over the top. And I've covered my canvas with some newspaper, just different headlines. There's all kinds of, this is one day in the news right here. It had all kinds of crazy events happening all over the world. Rape survivors, ISIS, gun control, economy problems, murder, everything. Just there's so many negative headlines in the news that I thought, you know, the original painting that I did of this was for the 9/11 tribute 10-year anniversary, and I used clippings from that day's paper remembering 9/11, and the whole idea was just the symbolic, covering it with the flag, the bleeding flag, and praying for peace over the top of it. So you can do this for any country that you want to. It can be adapted for wherever in the world you're at. I just thought this was a good time for the 4th of July coming up in a couple of weeks, and we've had so many other things in the news lately that have been so disturbing. I just wanted to kind of pull this out. It's been about 5 years since I painted it, and do this for you today. So I hope you enjoy it. So the first thing that I did was I've got a 16 by 12 inch canvas here, and I covered it with newspaper clippings. Now you can leave this part out, or you could even just write things on it yourself with Sharpie or something like that. Actually, probably wouldn't use Sharpie because it might show through your paint. So just some sort of like ink pen or charcoal pencil or something like that. But I just took my newspaper clippings and carefully tore them. If you fold your edge a little bit before you tear, you can get a straighter line. I really didn't mind kind of this kind of uneven edges, so I just used my thumb and held it in place as I tore, and just moved my thumb down as I tore the next section, and that way I could kind of control where it tore and didn't tear into the middle of where I wanted it. If you've never used Mod Podge before, it's really easy. It's a kind of a whitish glue substance, looks like this, or you could even use gel medium. Those, like if you have a really good like gloss gel or something like that, those work for collage also. But you just put a nice thick layer down with your brush, set your piece of paper down, rub out any wrinkles, and then put another layer of it on top, and that's why you get this kind of nice sealed canvas. I'm not going to do it right now. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes for it to dry, so that's why I did prep my canvas ahead of time, because I didn't think we wanted to wait 15 to 20 minutes for the canvas to dry. So I had mercy on you today. I know it's a live show. I've got my husband Mark here with me today.
Hey everybody.
He's not on mic today because we had some echo problems last week, so we're gonna just have him talk really, really loud. So, which is not his usual mode of speaking. He's a pretty soft-spoken guy, so it's gonna have to make him yell. And he's gonna be manning chat, so please, if you've got questions or anything, you can comment in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. It's a nice thing about the live shows is we get to interact with y'all. And I already know we had people from Sweden and Canada and I think Australia and here in the US, all over the world. It's really amazing to get to know all of you from all over the world. Mona and Kelly and Sue.
Lisa, Stephanie Cakes, Kelly Joyce, Patricia Simmons, Yasna.
It's awesome.
Different people chatting.
Wonderful.
Several comments about your
my nails. Yes, I did my nails. And the flag. Had to get into the, although by the 4th of July they will not look this good. This one's already all messed up from putting this on my canvas yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I've got glazing medium. This will just kind of help give my white background a little bit of transparency. That way you can still see some of the headlines through the paint. And I'm just going to go straight onto the canvas with this. I'm just going to work really quick, and I'm just going to lay out a little bit of the gel, the glazing medium, and then I'm just going to kind of plop a few little drops of this white acrylic paint. This is the golden fluid acrylics, but you can use just like regular craft paint too. I would say go with the fluid, the more fluid acrylics for this project, because we want some drips and things, and the thicker heavy body acrylics might not work as well. I've got a large brush here, and I'm just going to spread this on. Add a little bit more paint. And I don't really do like symbolic type art like this very often, but when I do, it was really, I mean, I think that painting this, the original painting, I did it live also at church. I was asked to do a painting for the anniversary of 9/11. It happened to fall on a Sunday, and I had been doing live paintings from time to time during the service, and so I don't know, this was just one of those things that kind of came together for me. It's really, I wish it happened more often when I get an idea like this and it just works, you know, but it was probably one of the more profound experiences that I've had painting, is doing this one live at church. It was very, very moving. Just the symbolism of it, you know, just the idea of covering over all of this tragedy.
Lisa W. asks, can you use a glazing medium with craft paint, or would that be unnecessary?
Yeah, you can use a glazing medium with craft paint, sure. The whole idea is that the glazing medium just allows for a little bit of transparency, and if you added too much water, since we're doing multiple layers on top of this, if you just added water to your craft paint, it might not bind to the canvas very well. So the glazing medium just makes sure that it is going to stick and stick well. So.
And Mona liked your big brush there.
It is. I got this on clearance. I looked for it the other day and it was like $20. I thought, there is no way I paid $20 for that. I bet I paid $5, if that. I'm too cheap. So, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I use it for a lot of things like this when I want to. I've used it sometimes for varnishing too, but it's not as good for that. I like it more for painting than anything. Okay, so here I said that about letting things dry, and here I'm going to have to let this dry really quick. Sorry. Chat amongst yourselves for a moment. Won't take long. Just don't want it sopping wet. It can be a little bit wet. I just need it a little bit more dry. Actually, here, I'll let you do this and we'll talk about the drawing. We'll draw out our dove, if you don't mind.
I can do that.
Pass this off to Mark. Pull out my sketch of my dove. So we'll do the drawing part first, and then we'll go back to the painting. So this is a little bit different than the one that I did. The one that I did was off of, I think it's a Picasso. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to mess with the Picasso people. I kind of think that I want to be safe. Of course, it was just for a church. I didn't really feel like it was going to get in copyright trouble, but because we're doing this on YouTube, I wanted to make sure that I didn't get into any trouble. So we're doing our own dove this time. It's a little bit different, but it's similar. So the top part of it, kind of tried to kind of fill up this whole area here. So I'm going to put the head in this kind of halfway upper area right here, just a curved line over like that, and then curve it back in, and then almost straight down, and then back in like that. This one's a little bit fatter than my other one. Okay, then the wings are going to be kind of at a diagonal here, so you're going to kind of do them like that. I don't know if you can see that. So this one's going to curve up like that. This one's going to kind of curve up and then have another curve that goes that way, and then another curve that goes long. This one's a little shorter than this section because it's kind of tucked behind. And then I'm just going to start curving in my lines, overlapping them, and getting shorter as they get closer to the body. And then this one is going to curve down too, and doing the same thing and kind of angling them so that they both end about there. So I'm just going to keep going until you're kind of going to imagine this line continuing. I mean, you can even draw it in lightly if you want to, and then going out like that. So that's where you want to end your wing right there. And then just kind of diagonally end it on the other side about the same area. So then I'm going to curve this tail out and around, and then do some more little curves. And then this line is going to curve in and back down. And that's about it. It's really fun, easy. If you do it in little steps like that, it's really not hard. Then our little olive branch here, it's just some little tiny leaves with our branch. And there we have it. Got your little circle for the eye. If you want to, you could trace this out on paper. That's probably what I would suggest, especially you know, if you're not comfortable with drawing straight onto the canvas. And then just trace it out with tracing paper and use transfer paper to put it onto your canvas. If you don't know how to do that, I do it in the beginning of my dragonfly video. So you can check that out if you want a longer tutorial on that. So how is it? How is it? It's probably good enough. Go ahead and grab that back from Mark. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Plenty good. You gonna clean that out for me?
No.
Oh, you're cleaning
off my hand.
Drying off your hand. Okay.
The brush is getting a lot of love. For sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so now for our flag. And like I said, you can kind of adapt this to whatever country you're from. I would just keep it very impressionist. Like, don't get too bogged down in all of the little details. I'm kind of doing a general representation of the flag, but I'm not trying to be really perfect about the lines or anything. So with the American flag, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red stripes down the middle. The middle one is right smack dab in the middle, and it runs into the blue. So that will be the bottom of your blue section. And then the blue section's about, it's less than half of the top. So I'm just going to kind of do a general section here. Let me see. So it's a little bit longer this way than it is this way. Does that make sense? That's why I'm using the longer canvas. You could do this on a smaller canvas and just kind of adjust it accordingly. But so then the top and bottom stripes are going to go right along the edge, and then you're going to fit 2 more stripes right in the middle of those. So 2 more stripes, and just try to kind of evenly space those. Probably can't see my marks too much, but you'll see when I start painting here with the red. So I'm going to grab some red paint. This is Pyrrole red. You can use whatever red you've got. And I'm going to just lightly go back and forth. And I'm using about, I think it's probably a 1/2 inch flat here, number 12, Robert Simmons. So I'm going to do my middle 3 first. My top one, my middle one, and then my bottom one. And then I can adjust the sizes, try to keep them kind of narrow at first. And the white is really going to be just what it is. I'm not going to go back over it with any more paint. So we're just doing our stripes here to fill in around those white areas and over the top. And I'm just varying my brush direction, so kind of almost like X marks to give it a real random look. Okay, now I can fit in 2 more stripes here, and I just want to make sure that my stripes leave about the same width as my white, so if that makes sense. Just making sure that they're all about the same width. And if you want to, you could use a ruler and line out with a ruler your stripes just to give you a little bit better guidelines so you don't kind of get some larger than others. And the main thing is just to kind of keep them straight as possible. But the nice thing with this being kind of random like this, you can kind of fudge it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's actually a really fun, pretty fast project. I think I painted it in under an hour when I did it at the church. Okay, see? And I don't want it to go too thick so that I can still see some of my words underneath as well. So it's a little bit see-through. I'm not using a whole lot of paint. How's it going, Mark?
It's going great. People are just chatting up how hot it is.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what we're going to do for 4th of July this year. Both of our boys are not living in well, both of our older boys that were like in charge of the fireworks festivities are both not living in town anymore. So we're going to have to do our own. Our neighborhood does a huge fireworks stuff. Like fireworks are illegal, so people just grab hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks and do them off all over in our neighborhood. This is ultramarine blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of phthalo blue also, because I found that these 2 colors together make a really nice like royal blue. And I'm just going to fill in this whole top section with this. So yeah, we've had some interesting 4th of Julys at our house. We've had some interesting fireworks mishaps happened.
Hopefully nobody hurt, though.
Yeah, nobody hurt, but we did catch the neighbor's yard on fire a couple of times.
Small detail.
They were nice about it at least, but yeah. So that happened. And almost blew up a car, but that was for a birthday. That wasn't 4th of July. So yes, so be safe. Don't, if you're using fireworks, be safe about it. Have adult supervision. Don't let teenagers loose with we caught we caught our boys with their friends taping bottle rockets together with duct tape. They had like about 200 of them. They had made this huge bottle rocket bomb. We're like, yeah, no, that's being confiscated right now. Like, what the heck, dudes? Teenagers do not have brains. If you get it too thick, you can go back in with a wet cloth while it's still wet and just kind of wipe some of these areas down a little bit. It's kind of sticking in areas. That's interesting.
Well, I missed some questions, but no one's covering for you.
Oh, is she?
Don't have to
Okay,
name,
good. Thank you, Mona. What questions?
Oh, asking about,
Oops.
something about, I'll find it.
Just going to go back in with a lighter wash and kind of fill it in a little bit more.
No, actually, Lisa W. Question from Patricia. Patricia asked if your paints were diluted with the medium.
No, they're not. These are just straight fluid acrylics. So, but I think
I was being distracted by Canada Day. It's July 1st, and Lana said that National Day was back on June 6th. So
for them.
yeah, for the different
Oh,
countries.
neat.
Different
Canada Day is when? July
1st.
Oh, great. Well, that's perfect. Perfect timing. Okay, so now I'm going to put in some stars. Really simple. Got some white here. And I've grabbed I think it's like a 1/4 inch. It's a flat brush. It's got longer bristles. Really doesn't matter what brush you use, as long as you can kind of get it into these tight spaces. So we've got to look at my notes here. So there's 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5 down. 1, I'm going to do there. Nope, that's wrong, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's right. Okay. So 6 across and 5 down. I'm just doing little dabs. And you can do this with what?
Nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. I was listening to your counting on the delay.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to fill in and try to just space them out. You know, like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm not actually kind of making stars. I'm just sort of doing little dots. And I might go back in later and kind of fix them a little bit. And then I'm going to do dots in between. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across this time on these in between. And 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes sense? So it's actually pretty simple to fill in your little stars. And then I'm just going to go back in and kind of add a little crosses to some of them. Just kind of make them a little bit more star-like. Not really being very particular about it.
Charlie joined us a little while ago.
Awesome. Charlie's in my Thankful Art group. If you haven't joined my Thankful Art group, it's a really nice place where you can share with me what you're painting. If you've done any of my art tutorials, I'd like to see what you're doing. And there's a lot of really nice people in there that are very encouraging. We're all kind of on our different art journeys and could use some encouragement sometimes. So it's just a nice place. There's no critiques unless you ask for them. Just a place to kind of share and your excitement about what you're painting. And we try to keep the drama down to a minimum. So we've had, every now and then we have a spammer or somebody weird get in there that tries to cause trouble, but they get booted out pretty quick. We don't do drama. It's got to be a nice. I can't paint when I'm stressed, so I'm sure neither can you. I'm just doing a little flaggy. Oh, I forgot to do my little close-up camera. Let me see if this is gonna work. Oh, look at that. All right, now we're talking. I'm gonna have to click off my picture. There we go. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, trying to get all fancy.
I am. I've got a second camera now. Really, I'm taking more time with this than I did with my other one, but so there you get the idea. Just my little stars. And now I'm going to take some, I'm going to have to go.
Just as we zoomed in, Lisa was asking if you could zoom in.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. I'm going to zoom back out, sorry, for this part. So now I'm going to take my red and I'm just going to wet it down just a little bit. If you have red inks, you could use inks for this part. And I'm just going to start at the top here and just lay in close to the edge. Whoop. Just some fluid red in some different places.
Carolyn's here.
Hi, Carolyn.
Catherine Harris is saying this looks super fast and that she's going to try to do it with the kids.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay, so now I am adding my little, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh.
I'm trying to keep it in the camera here, but wanting to. You can direct where these drips are going to go by putting a little bit of water down ahead of time, and it'll kind of help keep them in a certain area.
Joanna asked, why you crisscross instead of painting it straight across? I'm guessing
it's just an artistic choice, really. You can do it however you want. If you want it a little bit more perfect, this one was kind of, the idea was sort of that the flag was a little bit deconstructed, bleeding and, you know, broken. So just mourning more, you know. I mean, the idea was that for the 9/11 painting that I did originally was just, you know, mourning for the losses that we'd had, and you know, with all the craziness that's been going on lately with Orlando and all this other stuff, I just thought, you know, this is a good time to pull this out and remember, just pray for peace. So
Mona saying she wondered if she gets the same effect with the colors of Sweden, red or yellow, and yellow and blue.
You know, you could probably, I'm trying to I was thinking of that actually. I was thinking you probably make it bleed your, you know, blue or yellow or whatever colors. I mean, I think that it would be a similar effect. So yeah, I would, or you could splatter red on it if you wanted to, but that, you know, that might be a little bit much. I don't know. Alright, so you get the idea. I'm going to do a couple more here. Just adding a little bit of water if it doesn't want to drip. That's where I think that the fluid, or like the inks, might work too. They may drip a little bit easier for you. But okay, I think that's good. Maybe. And then some of these I want to sort of end in the stripe, so I want to go back in and just kind of add a little bit of some of them that end and don't go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I think that's pretty good.
I told everybody that we're not being paid by Fiskars to have the ruler in camera. So
Oh, yeah, exactly. I wish. Man, I wonder how much they would pay me. Fiskars, call me. I'll hook you up. Okay, I need to let that dry just a little bit. Will you hit that with the hairdryer, honey?
Janelle asks, how did she do the newspaper background? She came in late.
I used Mod Podge for that, and you just put the Mod Podge down fairly thick and with the brush, and then lay your newspaper clippings in, and I just kind of tried to keep them all horizontal and fit them in, and then kind of tear off the sections that I didn't need, overlapped some of them, just trying to fill in all the small spaces. And if you have little sections where they don't meet up, you can take little small headlines or just like single words out of the paper and use those to kind of fill in your gaps. But just put down your Mod Podge with the brush, put your paper down, kind of smooth it out. It will wrinkle a little bit, but I don't mind that because it's kind of the texture effect. And then put more Mod Podge over the top. And then let it set for about 15 to 20 minutes before you paint over it. So there's Stickman. He made an appearance. So if you've never used it before, it's actually really easy and fun. I use it, I'm trying to think, the beginning of my Bluebird video that I did last year, I show the background Mod Podge. So if you want to check that out at the very beginning, I show how to use gel medium to stick down dictionary paper for the background of that painting. So how are we doing? Good enough? Close enough? Yeah, that's good. That's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and freestyle it here and hope for the best. And we're going to put our dove on here, but you can take your drawing that we did before and trace it out with tracing paper and transfer it onto your canvas, or you can use chalk and draw your bird on with chalk, and then that way if you make any mistakes you can fix them. My paint's too wet for that still, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint over this and hope that I don't mess it up. We'll see.
So there's a couple questions. Janelle asked, will acrylic stick to Mod Podge?
Yes, yes it does. Yep.
And can you use the Mod Podge on canvas instead of a board?
Yes, you can. It might wrinkle a little bit more on a canvas because they're more flexible. So that's why I like to use the boards when I'm doing Mod Podge, just because it's a little bit firmer support. But yes, you can use them on canvas just fine. But yeah, they might be a little bit more texture to them.
Joanna asks, have you done model and paste on your painting?
I haven't, but that would actually be really cool if you built up these lines with some texture paint. Yeah, that would be really nice. I think that would be a nice way of doing the background too, and then paint it over them. It'd give them a little bit of texture. So, all right, I've got my flat brush. If you want to, you could use a round brush as well. I like the flat brush for this because I can get a little bit thinner lines, because I want some of these lines to be thicker and thinner. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out where my bird is going to go. So I want the beak to be right about here so that there's plenty of room for my wings to spread out this way. So I'm going to, whoops, I'm getting my thumb in the paint. Darn it. Okay. It wasn't dry right there. I'm going to just dab off some of these wet areas here just so I don't smear it anywhere. It's close enough.
People are still talking about your fingernails. You might have to create a Facebook page just for them.
Just for the fingernails? They were fun. And I actually did not go out and buy any of these colors. I have way too many fingernail polish. It's Mark knows, he can attest to my addiction. It's really bad. It's just like every time I go to Walmart, if I go down the fingernail polish aisle, I'm going to end up with a new color. So yeah, I bought the white ones a couple weeks ago and was not even thinking about doing this, but it worked out great. So really fun. tried to do little stars on my thumbs, but I'm not that coordinated. I can't paint with my left hand, so I couldn't get it right. Okay, just trying to keep my hands clean so I don't mess this up here. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. That way I won't be crossing over and getting into anything. I think this is all dry now. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to do my first section of my dove right here. Curved line up. I'm going to curve it over just a little bit more. This newspaper can be tricky because it will kind of mess with your lines a little bit, so don't freak out too much. The other thing that you could do is use like either an acrylic marker or a Sharpie for this, and that would be a little bit easier for this part. But okay, so I'm going to curve it down, do the belly of the bird. I feel like I got him too high.
That's okay.
Not a whole lot I can do at this point. Sorry.
One row too high?
Yeah, probably one row too high. I'm going to do the wing a little bit lower than I had planned to kind of help make up for it.
Another question, if you're using craft paint instead of heavy body.
Yes, I am. I'm using thinner paints. These are the golden fluid acrylics. So they're actually even a little bit thinner than the craft paint. Just using the edge of my brush to draw in my lines. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one up just a little bit more. Okay. I think let's go ahead and do the body, and then we'll put in the wings. Might not be too bad. We're close. Bring that wing up even higher. Just curving around using that flat edge of my brush to create my wings, and getting them narrower as I get toward the bottom.
I want to ask if you can use Americana paint.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Americana would work just fine.
And Rachel suggested to put the branch in his feet.
Ah, yeah. There we go. Not bad. Okay, and then you can go back in if you want to and thicken up some of these lines if you want them a little bit thicker in places. I kind of like the idea of these being thick and then thin and then thick again. So however you want to do it. I'd say the less that you mess with it once you get it on there, the less likely that you will be of having a really thick area. That the more you mess with or go back over something, the more chance of it becoming thicker and thicker and thicker. It's just in my experience. I think I'm just going to curve this branch down so that it's kind of like in this direction.
So Janelle asked if a Sharpie would work, and I missed a question, so Kristen.
Yes. What? Go ahead.
somebody said that they may have a tendency to bleed, but
Yeah,
pens would work.
paint pens would work. Sharpie will work. Sharpie will fade over time. So just be aware of that. If you have this set somewhere like that's in the sun, it will. The Sharpie is not archival, but it shouldn't bleed because they're permanent, so that it should be okay. For the leaves, I'm just setting my brush down on its side, and let me zoom in here. Setting my brush down on its side, and it's loaded thick with paint, but it's pulled to a good point. So when I say to a point, it's got like a good edge on it there, so that I can make a fine line with it. So push it down, it'll plop down, and then just pull it back up while you're lifting.
You can't see that action. Your hand's in the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You just see at the top of your hand. When you
Okay, well,
that's better.
plopping it down and then lifting it up and letting that edge drag up to where it's supposed to be. Okay. We're about done.
Patricia wants a traceable of the bird.
Okay, I'll do traceable. I'll take a screenshot, or actually I'll just do Sharpie over the top of this one that I drew and put the picture on my Thankful Art page for you to use. No problem. All right, so now all that's left is a dot for the eye. I'm going to use the back end of a brush so I get a nice perfect circle. The nice thing about these fluid acrylics is you can do this. This wouldn't work with a heavy body acrylic. And then do a dot for the eye. Very easy. I think we're done. I think you could go back in and splatter some, maybe, or I might splatter some other colors in there, like maybe some of this blue over the top, or even, actually, let's do some gold splatters. I think that might look nice. I've got some, I put out some of this kind of gold paint, although I don't want to get it on my dove too much, but this is yellow oxide. I'm just going to splatter over the top of my painting a little bit with this. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if you can see that effect, but that just adds another layer of interest. But if you do this for your country, I'd love to see it. Please share it with me on my Thankful Art page. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can click on my name or my picture, and it'll take you to my channel, and you can see my other playlists. I've got all kinds of videos for beginners. Next Saturday, I will be doing another live show. Not sure what I'm going to be painting yet. I'm going to also be releasing a video for my collab with Clive Powell for Clive 5 Art. We're doing a Star Trek collab, so I'll have some sort of a galaxy themed painting released next Saturday, and then also I'll have my live show at 2 p.m. And I don't know what I'm going to do, so if you want to give me a hint for that, I kind of think I might, well, I'm not going to say. I'll put the link to whatever I decide to do up in my Thankful Art page. It'll be on my channel page too, so you can check that out on my YouTube channel page. It'll show the new live shows that are coming, but I'm going to try to do live shows all summer long. I will only miss 1 week, and that's in a couple of weeks. I'll be out of town, but then for the rest of the summer, we'll be doing live shows every Saturday at 2 p.m., but I'll at least have a video for you every Saturday all through the summer. So, and my quick tips videos will be coming out also, and I'll probably try to do at least 1 or 2 of those every week as well. So hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for those who came and stopped by to watch, and I will see you next week.